Stephanie, the founder of Awkward Money, and I'm here to talk to you all about generational wealth. I find that generational wealth is one of those phrases that can either spark hope or a little bit of intimidation. But I have some good news. The process can be simple. In today's video, we're going to be diving into how building generational wealth really does require healing financial trauma. And I'll share some practical tips for saving and hopefully overcoming the guilt that comes with prioritizing your own financial well-being. But first, make sure to like, subscribe, and stick around to the end for a reminder that breaking the cycle starts with you. Let's start with the reality many of us grew up with: scarcity. Maybe you've heard phrases like, money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. Hay comida en la casa. These messages have a hand in shaping our relationship with money, which in turn makes it difficult to escape the vicious cycle that we find ourselves in. And this is where my background in mental health comes in handy. I help guide and teach my clients how their past relationship and experiences shape their present behaviors. And in some ways, it can be profound just realizing that, yes, it is a cycle. It is a matter of behavior. There is a pattern, but it's also difficult to break, but it's not impossible. But how are these behaviors created in the first place? First thing is, we learn them. We have learned behaviors. We internalize the financial habits and attitudes we observed growing up. We learned and adopted certain habits and certain lessons growing up, and a lot of it can be unconscious, which is why it's difficult when people are asking us, like, why do we do this? It's really a repeated pattern that I learned in childhood, and it just so happened to follow me as I became an adult. Other ways that these behaviors are created is emotional associations. Past financial traumas or struggles create strong emotional responses to money, leading to avoidance or even impulsive behaviors. So the next time there's this impulse, we have to start acknowledging, is this something the situation warrants? Is there something in the environment that requires that response? Or is there an emotion there? And we're just kind of operating on autopilot. Belief systems. Now, belief systems are interesting because you would think if we're having this conversation with ourselves, like, I need to be better with money. However, if our belief systems were formed in early childhood or during early experiences with money, our beliefs about money could just be ingrained. The next thing is coping mechanisms. We develop unhealthy financial habits as ways to cope with stress or anxiety, which then perpetuates the cycle of scarcity or overspending. So I think it's ironic that me as a mental health therapist and coach, I'm talking about coping mechanisms, but I'm having to have certain conversations with folks on, is it a coping skill? Because coping skills and self-care and anything that regulates our system, it's supposed to help us tune in to the situation that triggered a certain response or that made us feel uncomfortable. If we're constantly engaging in coping skills, we're not really dealing with the problem. We're just escaping, hence avoiding the situation. So I kind of want us to take a step back. Are we really coping or are we just escaping? So let's just kind of take a step back and see what's happening in this vicious cycle that I mentioned. Walk me through step by step, like what is happening in the situation. The cycle that seems to come up a lot is we earn money, we spend money, and then we feel ashamed, leading to the urge to earn more money and then spend, and then we start all over again. If we could just take a sec to kind of slow that cycle down just a little bit, and we just focus on one particular area, and that's shame. So for a lot of folks, I understand the impulse, but here's the thing. Shame often arises when there's an unmet societal or personal expectation about money. So if you're struggling with debt, if there's this inability to save any type of money, if you're overspending or mismanaging all of your finances, or an interesting one that I hear is you're comparing yourself to someone who you deem financially successful. Whatever it may be, I just kind of want us to take a step back. So when there's shame, we go into blame. I must be bad with money. That person is just better with money than I am. If we look at it from a systemic view, was there a history of poverty in your family? Have you been a victim of marginalization or systematic oppression? Are you also struggling? Is there a history of intergenerational trauma when it comes to money? Any one of these can deepen our feelings of inadequacy and failure. So before we start to continue this money script or this belief that you are horrible when it comes to money, let's just try our best to be a little bit kinder and just see where this feeling could also stem from. So if these things I just mentioned are true, possibility, and there's a problematic behavior that we just want to change, then it's probably also true that these patterns are not solely your fault. These are just problems that have been passed down. They've been shaped by systematic barriers and generational struggles. And you have the power to rewrite that narrative. And we can start by healing that financial wound that you've been holding on to all this time. So how do we go about doing that? The first step that I try my best to emphasize is we have to start recognizing and telling the inherited money story. Really sit down with yourself and ask, what did I learn about money growing up? How did my parents talk about money? When dealing with certain relationships or friendships, did money cause any problems in those relationships? Was there a feeling that happened when it came around money? These are the money stories that I really want my clients to just unpack and really figure out what happened. Because you might be able to you might be able to remember what happened, but it's another thing to actually start telling that story. Those stories need to be told aloud. Next, acknowledge your belief about money. So a belief that I hear a lot is money is hard to come by. And for a lot of us, yeah, money is hard to come by. I know for me, I grew up in the Bay Area, and unless you are in tech or you had the cure for cancer, money is really hard to come by. You have to get really creative or just get used to having side hustles to make ends meet. But at the end of the day, is this belief, money is hard to come by, is that serving you? And this is not to say we have to be ashamed of it, we have to turn away from it. If it is helping you, if it is making you motivated or helping you make sound financial decisions, keep it. And finally, practice financial self-care. When you get to a place where you're dealing with your financials, keeping track of your finances, creating a new budget, going over your expenses, if your nervous system needs regulating and you're able to address it right then and there, that's financial self-care. But this process doesn't always look the same for everyone. I know for me, I need to do some grounding techniques, listen to music, make sure the lighting is perfect before I even touch my finances. For others, it may be doing a DIY crafting project or going outside and sketching. Whatever it may be, it has to regulate your nervous system. And this is where I'm different compared to financial coaches. I don't really care about the numbers. The numbers are what they are. That's just facts. How you spent your money is not as important to me as why and what is it doing to your nervous system. Because I believe when we do the storytelling, this is how we break that cycle. And this is how your money story no longer controls you. Now let's talk about something many of us feel but rarely discuss. Family guilt. If you're the go-to person in your family for financial emergencies, you might feel torn. You might really want to help. You have the best intentions. You have the best plan. You have the best route, but what about your financial goals? It's important to remember this. Prioritizing your financial well-being doesn't mean you're abandoning your family. It means you're setting up your future where you can help them from a place of stability. This is what it means to go from this survival mindset to thriving mindset. The best way to help yourself is to understand you are not alone, and it's okay to use the strategies that benefit you and only you. So the first thing you can do is set some clear boundaries. It's okay to say things like, I need to focus on my financial goals. Setting goals will benefit you and the family in the long term, I promise. Setting goals, but I also understand that can be harsh. We're not quite ready for that. So if saying no is really difficult, try saying this instead. I really want to, but I can't help you right now. But maybe I can help when I figured out my own financial situation just a little bit more. So it's not a no, period. It's more of a no, not right now, but maybe later. Create a family fund. This is where you can set a certain amount you can contribute monthly for family emergencies. And this shows that you care while also protecting your main source of income. And I know in a collectivist society, we all share. Like that's just part of the deal. If I have something, you have nothing, we share. But I can't share all of me. I can't share everything that I have, and I'm left with nothing, because then I can't probably help you the next time that comes around because I'm just at a deficit. When it comes to sharing, it doesn't always have to be take. The next thing is sharing resources. Now I understand there might be some confusion, like Steph, you just talked about creating a fund. Like, why are we sharing resources? Aren't they the same thing? No, sometimes resources don't involve money at all. Sharing connections with people, whether it's with an accountant, financial advisor, or services that help families in financial crises, or knowledge, hence this YouTube video. Let's shift gears for a little bit and talk about more of the practical side, saving money. This is one of the best tools for building generational wealth. And if you're coming from a place of trauma and anxiety, it's possibly something that you're doing right now, but we're just trying our best to level up. So if you haven't already done it, let's start with saving small amounts. Automate a portion of your income that goes straight into a savings account. I don't even care if it's $20 a week or $20 a month. Like, if it's that amount, so be it. And if we're at a place where we can think long term, maybe we need to talk to someone about opening a retirement account, like a Roth IRA or starting a 529 if you're planning to have kids. This could actually help build a college fund for the future generation. And I get it, it might be weird talking about the future in this type of world right now, but I like to believe that there's somewhat of a future and we need to be prepared financially, because these investments are not just for you, but also your family's future. The next thing is starting your money checklist. On this checklist is just a thing to refer back to whenever you're not sure if you're adhering to your financial goals. So this is what we do. 1, set a clear financial goal for the month. Break down your monthly goal into small, actionable steps you can achieve within 1 or 2 weeks. Track your progress and celebrate your wins. And if you're not quite sure how to do this, sign up for my newsletter. You will receive my free ebook called Financial Goal Setting for Awkward People. It includes the financial goals worksheet I use in my sessions with my clients. The cycle of scarcity is no small feat, but you're already doing the work by being here and watching this video. If this video resonated with you, be sure to like and share this video, subscribe to the channel for more wealth building tips, and sign up for the newsletter to receive that ebook I mentioned. And let me know in the comments what's one step you're taking today toward building generational wealth. Your journey could inspire other awkward folks like me and you. So let's hear it. And if nothing else, thanks for joining me today.